Okay. Start off by just saying, as you saw yesterday, obviously relieved Marcus Brady of his duties. Very, very difficult decision. Very close with Marcus. Have a lot of respect for him. A really good man, a really good coach. The whole staff, the whole building. Ultimately, as a head coach, you have to make decisions that you think are best for the team. And, it's both things can be true. Marcus is a really good coach, a really good person, really good teammate. And sometimes it's just right for a change, and there's something that makes sense for the team. And I know that Marcus is going to have a lot of success. I was fired as a coordinator. I was fired as a coordinator with the Chargers, and 2 years later was the coordinator on a team that won the Super Bowl. So I expect Marcus Brady to have this continued success, and I, certainly wish him the best and would help him in any way I can, because I think he's a good coach and a good person. I'm not naming an interim coordinator. I'll handle those duties. I'm the play caller. Ultimately, the offense falls on my shoulders. It's a collaborative effort for sure. But myself and the coordinator always are central to that game planning process, and that play calling is obviously my deal, and the first 15 is my deal. So those things fall on me. You also saw obviously the trade with Naheem. Again, a decision that Chris and I talked through, and with Mr. Irsay, and ultimately it was hard to trade Naheem. Such a good player, such a good teammate. But we certainly wish him the best, and know that he'll succeed there, and looking forward to following his continued success. I'll open it up from there.
Frank, there's a general perception outside the building that Marcus was scapegoated.
Yeah.
How do you address that?
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I understand that, and so that should fall on me. It's not Marcus. He's not being scapegoated, but I understand how that perception is. So, I have to own that, but I can tell you it's a collaborative effort. Marcus obviously plays a role. We all work together. We're all responsible for the work that we do. Marcus did a good job. Ultimately, I made the decision I thought was best for the team.
Frank, did Naheem ask to be traded?
I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into how that all got initiated or what that whole. And honestly, Chris handled 99% of it. Involved me in the discussions along the way, but Chris handled 90% of that.
Frank, why now with Marcus? The timing seems odd. Just the move to Sam, and then just why now?
Yeah, I just think that looking for certain dynamics. There's I almost liken it sometimes to there's a player on a team, and he's a good player, but there's not the right chemistry, or something's just not gelling the way you thought it would gel. And then that player goes to another team and he succeeds wildly. Well, why is that? They just fit better on another team. And sometimes I think that happens in coaching. And so, I'm thankful we got a really good staff and just had envisioned certain dynamics that we were looking for in the building, in the room, on the field. And so that's why we made the decisions we made. But I expect Marcus is going to have great success.
Frank, how do you get stability back to the offense? You've had the changes. How do you have to have that stability to get to move forward?
This is obviously seems like a boxed answer, but I know this to be true. One play at a time, one first down at a time, one touchdown at a time, one game at a time. When you're off track, there is no magic pill, as we always say. You gain your confidence and your rhythm back one play at a time.
Frank, in the past when you guys have bounced back from slow starts or bad starts, felt like believing in who you had and staying with that was a big reason why. This has been a lot of big changes. Why is this season different from those other ones?
Yeah, fair question. I think that every season is different, right? It wouldn't make sense to me to say have an absolute answer, right? If that makes sense. It's not always stick with it. It's year by year, case by case, game by game, moment by moment. We're not going to put ourselves in a box and say, well, this is always the answer. There's very few always and nevers. So you end up evaluating it case by case.
Right. After all, kind of going back what Mike said there, after the changes on and kind of off the field, what are you telling your guys, to try to keep this thing kind of going in the right direction?
Yeah, stay united and keep fighting. Unite and fight. Unite and fight. Everybody do your job. If we do our job, like I said the other day, I really feel like we've gotten soundly beaten by one team this year, and the rest was a lot of self-inflicted stuff. So if we unite and fight the right way and play good football, I think we've already proven. We beat the Chiefs. Obviously, they're one of the better teams in the league. So if we do it the right way, we'll win a lot of games.
Can that message be effective, given all that? I mean, this has been a heck of a 2 weeks, and they also don't have a lot of results, lately to show for some of that. I mean, do you think it's an effective message? Do you think it's getting through?
No, we'll find out. And I do think it's an effective message. I do think, we won 2 games and we lost 2 games. And we're very disgusted with where we are at right now with our record. But I believe that everybody has the mindset like we're going to get back on track today, start today.
Frank, with Marcus, this is a big shift for a quarterback who just made his first start. So did you meet with Sam and talk him through it? How do you kind of get him in a kind of comfortable space this week?
Yeah, I talked with Sam right away, and obviously Sam had a ton of respect for Marcus. They had an excellent relationship. But the way our room runs, it's it was myself, Marcus, Scott Milanovic, Parks Frazier in there. So obviously, losing Marcus in the room changes the dynamic because he ran those meetings and he ran them well, and he was the primary voice in those meetings. But it is still very collaborative. I mean, Marcus was running the meetings, but we're all in there working together. So I did call Sam in. We talked it through. Very confident in the guys who are in the room, and it'll still be the same process, just absent Marcus's voice.
Should you have done more to increase Naheem's role?
I always had a vision of Naheem taking off, in this offense. This year I look back at it because I was assuming this question would be asked, and it's a fair question. When you look at the 6 games that he played in, he was the 3rd most targeted guy. It's JT, it's Pittman, and it's Naheem. The fact of the matter is our offense has been below average. We've not produced. We've not had a lot of yards. We've not had a lot of points. So everybody's production is down in the offense this year to a large extent. And, when I look back at it game by game, and, I was hoping to, get close to 10 touches a game for him. And, given the context of some of those games, when you look at it game by game, it's like, yeah, it was a little bit down, but I didn't think it was dramatically down relative to the other players or relative to where we were as an offense.
What are your anticipations this week for JT?
He's not going to practice today. We feel like he's, still trying to get back from this ankle. It's not 100%. Obviously retweaked it in the game. Hopeful that he can make some progress this week, and we'll take it day by day.
At the core of all these problems on offense is the line, right? We talked about this 5 different lineups in 7 games. You make a move the offensive coordinator, but not offensive line coach. Is Chris Strasser getting it done, and why offensive coordinator and not, the root of the problem?
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in Strauss. I mean, he's produced a lot of good offensive line play. I do feel like our protection has been pretty good the last few weeks. The run game last week was better, not where we want it to be. We've had the changing dynamics there. Do we have to play better? Yes. Are we headed in the right direction? I do feel like we are. I feel like guys are playing better. We had some uncharacteristic play last week that hurt us. We got to improve that. Everybody's got to do their job in that. From me to Strauss to the O-lineman, and I believe we're on that right track.
You made this move. You said for the best in the best interest of the team. What, if anything, can you tell us will be different or better moving forward? You're going to take a more active role. I mean, is there going to be any discernible change?
Most of the change will just be inside. Who's running the meetings. The game planning processes will stay relatively the same because it's pretty collaborative. I've always had an active role in that. I guess it would be a little bit more active, but, the coaches are, everybody, those responsibilities got distributed amongst the coaches. So it was a very clear assignment. Okay, here's how we're going to do this with each kind of unit and section in the game plan. So got a good group of coaches that we've all been game planning like this for a while. Have had a lot of good results with it over the years, so I'm confident in the process.
Frank, what is Matt's role this week?
Same. His shoulder, he won't be practicing today. He's not there yet.
Last couple of years, Frank, you guys have been pretty good, really good in on your first drives when you script. This year, not so much. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I mean, Bob, we're fighting for that answer. I'm fighting for that answer because we were really good for the first 4 years. I mean, really good, and we haven't scored a single point in an opening drive this year, and that stinks. So, I don't want to make any excuses for it. I have to do better. We have to do better. We have to be more productive in that first drive. Obviously, we know what we're doing. We've done it for 4 years. It wasn't like we had one good year doing it. We had 4 good years doing it. I mean, we have a 4-year track record of being one of the best teams in the NFL on an opening drive. And now all of a sudden we come up with this fluke year where we can't score a point on the opening drive. So, past performance, that doesn't do anything for us this year. So we got to figure it out. That starts with me. I script the first 15. And, it involves the game planning and the whole process, but we got to do better.
Frank,
All right, last one here.
Frank, how do you determine these players in the locker room and some of these veterans? I know Matt Ryan's the team captain, your team's the team captain, but who do you lean on in that locker room as a player to help you through these changes when one guy isn't practicing, the other guy is out?
Yeah. It's collective. There are the captains, right? We have there's the 7 captains. Then we have a leadership council of about 12 guys, but we also say everybody's a captain. Everybody's a leader on this team. And so, leadership is about taking responsibility and and making everybody accountable and bringing about the right change. So it's a collective effort. We do have our guys like the Shaqs, the Buckners, the Quentins, the JTs, the Matt Ryans, Kenny Moore, Ryan Kelly's leading the way. I mean, we got a bunch of leaders, and that's good for our team. And so we'll get the thing. It's got to be what our emphasis is. Hey, this is coaches and players together. We got to get this ship right.